We are back. A's baseball, past, present, and future. We got all of us on the same day, on the same line, together. Nancy Finley, Jerry Feitelberg, and myself, Ralph Tyko, the weak link of it all on the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. How you doing, guys? Start with you, Nancy. What's up?
Well, I'm just here homebound because I'm told the air quality is is too bad to go out. So it's like I'm just here enjoying myself and doing some writing. And if I sound a little nasal, excuse it. I don't have a cold.
Yeah, well, we're all suffering from it. We're in California. Today was the funeral of Smokey the Bear, as a matter of fact.
Oh. What happened? Yes. I mean, where's our
We've had horrible fires.
I know.
Smokey, the ganze Mishpacha, the Bear Mishpacha is gone. Jerry Feitelberg, how are you?
I have pictures.
I'm doing well today.
Well, let Nancy for a sec. Excuse me. I thought Nancy wasn't.
I'm sorry.
No, let her finish.
I have pictures of Smokey the Bear, Ralph, on the Coliseum grounds. Okay. So that's all.
Oh, yes, that would help.
Yes. Okay. I want to hear what
and
Jerry
I guess the first question I will ask Jerry along those lines, you mentioned the Coliseum grounds. Hmm? What's going to happen? It's between the end of the season now and the first of the year. A decision is forthcoming.
On the new ballpark, from what I've been hearing, they're leaning towards the Howard Terminal. Mm-hmm. They have some. I'm sure they have issues to work out, and their fallback position will be the Coliseum if they can't work it out. But what's interesting is that they're making changes. They're putting in seats and having. They're upgrading some of the situations for the fans coming for the upcoming season. They're going to put tables in and better seats. Mm-hmm. So all what you want to pay for. So I think that's quite an upgrade, and it shows that they want to stay in Oakland, and they want to make the ballpark experience much more enjoyable for the fans.
They really do.
At least until they could build a new ballpark. Is that the idea?
Correct. Well, it's following they put in the treehouse last year, and that was successful. And this year they'll have the additional seating in different areas, so hopefully that will work out too. And,
by the way, Jerry, you predicted. Look what happened. The wild card. I remember in the very beginning of the season, Jerry was talking about the players, and look how we ended up.
Yeah, you were the most Pollyannish guy, and now you're the most pragmatic guy in California's history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, sometimes it's better to be lucky than smart. I just felt that the team. With the players that they had, that they were going to be much better on the field. What I didn't expect.
You know what you're
saying.
Yeah,
he's modest, Nancy.
No. I can tell.
All right.
Nice job.
Nostradamus all season long, Jerry.
Yeah.
It was a good year. Let's clarify the stadium thing. Mm-hmm. Are they trying to juice up the park that they have to fool people into thinking that if they can't put together a new park, that they're not going to be gone somewhere?
I guess so. I think that they want to stay in Oakland. I think that they know that their chances of success with a better team on the field will be much greater here than, say, going to Portland, Oregon. They would be the big team in the Portland area, but it's a fairly small market. And they claim Oakland's a small market, but they're in the 5th or 6th largest market in the country. And there's no reason why the A's, there's 7 million people live in the Bay Area.
Jerry, I don't doubt that for a second. What I doubt is the powers that be in the county / city of Oakland makes the difference.
But is it Oakland? I think we.
It's Alameda County and the city of Oakland.
Well,
and
that's
a very, very nebulous bargaining position because you can't get them to agree, let alone bargain with the team.
It's too
Am I
bad.
correct?
Yeah.
But that's the advantage of the Howard Terminal. The Howard Terminal is only under the control of the city. Maybe the Oakland Port Authority might be involved, but the county is not involved with the Howard Terminal.
Oh, makes it nice.
Yeah.
What doesn't make that nice is the ecological problems that they may have to face.
Exactly. Oh, sure.
I'm sorry. I wanted to interject. When we moved here, the only reason it was called Oakland was because of the Raiders. But I don't think that would ever happen again because it encompasses a lot more than Oakland. People think of Oakland as just supporting the team, and it doesn't.
Right. Well, how would you have it? Something like Golden State, like the Warriors did?
Probably. They couldn't use California because the Angels had that. Remember?
But Golden State sounds good.
Something like
sure,
that.
Why not?
I don't think it would be the city name of Oakland again, just because Oakland cannot support it.
But then I don't think the city of Oakland would agree to that if they're going to build the ballpark.
Oh no, yeah, it will always keep the name Oakland. I mean, like if they ever had a new team for some reason, I don't think it would ever be called Oakland again. That's what I meant.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get it straight. So when is this announcement due, Jerry?
They said by the end of the year, and there's only 6 weeks left to the end of the year. So I would suspect in the next 6 months, if something forthcoming would be happening. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but hopefully they're negotiating. I know they'd love to get the property at the Coliseum location. They've offered them $130 million, which seems like a under market type of deal, and maybe the people at the county don't want that, and they're saying no, it's a no go, or they don't want to sell it to the city. But it would be better than having the property stand vacant. Although I guess they could build housing there or something if the teams were all to leave.
Yeah, good point.
Right. Very good point. All rented out. You know, you have two venues. You have an indoor concert thing. I don't know.
I don't know how long the indoor concert thing is gonna last. The Warriors, when they go over to San Francisco, they're not going to just play 41 games at that arena. They want to bring in the same shows and concerts that are going on in Oakland now. They want to bring it to San Francisco.
Really?
And they want
oh my God! I didn't think of that. I never thought that that would be a factor. I thought at least they would still have the concert venues.
That's a good location.
No, they want to use it. They want to use that facility for 200 dates a year. So they got the 42 or 44 Warrior games, and then they're going to have another 150 events at the San Francisco deal. Now, some of the maybe some of the acts will play. You know, some of the shows play San Jose and they play the Coliseum at the Oracle Arena, but they don't have a venue in San Francisco that holds 18,000 people. They will now have it with the new arena going up in San Francisco next year. Oh, that's their plan. And if you have a cool $1 million or $900,000, you can get a box for 24 people for all the events for the entire year. How's that?
Wow. Is that all it takes? That's $1 million a year, right? That's $1 million a year.
Yeah.
We can negotiate the deal over at Nations.
Why not?
Hey, anytime. You just name it.
All right. I think that's a start. As long as people are talking about it, you know, I'll agree to it, but if they want more than $50 down, we got a problem.
Well, when is that due to be finished in San Francisco?
I thought the
it opens
Nations
next
Project.
year. It opens next year.
Okay. It's beginning of the season?
Whatever.
Wow, they can build a building that quickly. You would wonder why it's going to take them 5 or 6 years to get a new ballpark built.
Yeah.
That's a good. I don't think it takes 5 or 6 years to build it. I think it'll take 2 to 3 years to build the park. But they're probably saying in that to get the permit process and all that, the architecture and the structural engineers, all that stuff takes a year or two before they get it all done, and then they got to get the permits, and then they build it. The actual construction takes 2 or 3 years.
And
but they're not
the permits are taken care of in San Francisco by having a lunch at Lefty O'Doul's, and they settle it all.
The grand opening is next
Here's
week.
the permits. Everything looks great. Our grandkids will be breathing the air, but don't worry about it. Maybe that works. It certainly hasn't worked for Oakland in keeping their sports franchises of late. And that's what worries me, and that's why I won't be at ease with this until the shovel is in the ground.
How did they lose the Warriors?
Oh,
Very carefully.
They didn't lose the Warriors. When Joe Lacob and Peter Guber bought the club, they announced that they wanted to have control of the arena. They were just leasing the arena in Oakland from the city and the county, and they found it unacceptable, and they wanted their own place. And they wanted to move. Lacob wanted to move to San Francisco from day one, and he wanted to build his own arena. No. They played out their lease, and they built the ballpark.
Yeah, I don't hear any controversy about that.
No, there wasn't any.
Well,
there wasn't any. They just said, "Well, we'll stay until the end of our lease. We're building our own stadium. See ya." And
Oakland didn't try to. Oakland didn't.
The lease was running out. There's nothing they can do, and the owners fulfilled their agreement and didn't fight anything. There was nothing to fight about. It was just they messed up, really.
Okay.
I guess they should have gotten a longer-term lease. Looking back, it's always 20/20 hindsight. But,
well, everyone seems happy about. I mean, no, really, everyone seems fine with it. So, if that's it, maybe
Well, you got to keep in mind the success of the Giants when they built AT&T. They funded it privately. It's been a success from day one. It's almost 20 years now that the stadium has been open. It's paid off, and the Giants are making nothing but money. And so Lacob, probably in his mind as a businessman and he's a venture capitalist, he saw that the opportunity to own the stadium and get the revenues and build the stadium and it would be much more profitable than paying rent, just like when a person buys a home.
Right.
You pay the money to yourself rather than pay it to a landlord.
And he never had an opportunity to purchase this arena?
Well, he had to deal with the city and county because that's who owns it. Yeah, he couldn't buy it. It'd be probably nightmarish to have bought it.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Oh, okay.
And Oracle, of course.
Hey guys, let's honor Bob Melvin a little bit, manager of the year in the American League.
Yes.
How about that?
Yes.
Let's talk about Bob.
Congratulations.
He deserves everything they got. On the social media, on Facebook, some of the guys, all the people up in New England felt Alex Cora should have gotten it. The people down in Tampa, our friend Peter Golenbach, felt that Kevin Cash should have gotten it. And I have been saying that the baseball voters, or whoever votes for manager there, got it right.
Is this new with is this through Major League, or is it something new with them?
No, the writers decide who's going to be manager of the year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they have a vote. There are certain writers that have a vote.
Okay.
And Bob had the lowest payroll of any big league club this year, around between $65 and $70 million. All 5 of the starting rotation were lost to injury. All 5. Then he had another 5 pitchers on the DL during the course of the year. He lost the 2 that they got off the scrap heap, Trevor Cahill and Brett Anderson, were on the DL. Mike Fiers and Edwin Jackson didn't have that fate, but Daniel Mengden went on the DL. So they had 10 starters go on the DL this year. Mm-hmm. He did have a solid bullpen, and that's what saved the team. But they were about, about 30 and 30 somewhere in June or July. They were muddling along, and all of a sudden they started winning, and they won 97 games. And normally, if you win 97 games, you're going to win your division. Unfortunately, the A's were stuck in the division with the Astros, and they finished second in the division, and they were the second wild card. But I think that the job that he did, mixing and matching the players, and look at what they got. You remember when we talked about Marcus Semien? Marcus Semien, when his first year as shortstop, we thought, how could they ever get this guy to be a shortstop? He was making errors all over the place. He came over in 2015, and then late that year, or 2015 or 16, Ron Washington came back and worked with Marcus, worked on his footwork, and he started to improve. And this year he finished second in the balloting for the Gold Glove in the American League for shortstop, which was fantastic. Jed Lowry finished second, and then in the Gold Glove, and they had 2 other, Matt Chapman and Matt Olson, were Gold Glovers at first and third base respectively, and Chapman won the Platinum Award for the best defender in all of baseball. And this is something
surprises me, given his somewhat erratic arm.
Yeah, he made some throwing.
Olsen was incredible at first, unbelievable. I mean, he really reeled in a lot of Chapman's errant.
Yes, he did. But Chapman's defensive rating, he saved more runs than any player in baseball, any defensive player. He had 29 defensive runs saved, which was phenomenal. Yeah,
absolutely.
So
he could come in on a ball that, like one of those excuse me bunts, faster than anyone I've ever seen. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he was terrific. But
really
look at the other players. Look at Stephen Piscotty came over in that trade, and he had a terrific season. Mm-hmm. They brought up Nick Martini as the leadoff hitter, and he did well. They got good service out of Mark Canna and Chad Pinder. And then late in the season, they brought up Ramon Laureano, who was an absolute sensation in center field.
I mean, do you think they'll trade at the winter meeting? Or
no,
okay.
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. The most important thing they have to do, in my mind, is to bring back Jonathan LaCroix. He didn't hit a lot. He only hit about 240, had 4 home runs, but he handled that young pitching staff just beautifully. So I think that was a very important decision that they made. I think that they have to go get some pitching, some starting pitching.
I was going to say, it wouldn't surprise me if Sonny Gray comes back.
It wouldn't surprise me. But the Yankees are going to trade him. They're not going to let him go as a free agent. Sonny pitched very well. Sonny was
we'll
one
put
of these
together
guys.
What he's worth at this point, a bucket of balls and 3 jock straps.
Yeah. Well, Sonny is one of these guys. He was like Ed Whitson. Whitson went to New York. Remember, he pitched for the Giants and then went to New York and pitched in New York. He couldn't handle New York, and nor could Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray couldn't handle it. He's not there are other guys that just can't they're in a goldfish bowl when they go to New York. When you play in the Bay Area, you have a degree of anonymity, but you don't have in New York.
What is that? Is it that more diehard fans?
Yeah.
Well, the press isn't on you, and there aren't 40,000 people a night screaming your name. I mean, a New York fan, a Boston fan too, just tremendously different than California, where it's laid back, and baseball isn't the most important thing of people's lives sometimes. Does that describe it well?
I'm going to give you a story. This goes back a few years. I was in New York for a wedding, and my buddy's brother worked for the Mets. He was an executive with the Mets, and he got us 4 tickets at a Yankee game. We were about 10 rows back of home plate. And the 4 of us went up there, my daughter, myself, and my 2 buddies. We went up there. And that night, Lorne Michaels from Saturday Night Live was sitting in the front row directly in back of home plate. So anyway, there was a foul ball, and they brought it over, and they gave it to one kid. And the other kid started to cry because he didn't have a ball. And you know what the fans in back of us started to do? They started to get on Lorne Michaels, and they're yelling, "Hey, Michaels, you can't buy the kid a ball? Hey, guys, give the rich kid a baseball."
Oh.
That's New York.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, that's New York. And my buddy starts talking to a guy from New York, and he says, "You guys from San Francisco, you don't know anything about baseball."
Well, you're in deep thought. We're in deep thought out here.
Well, San Francisco is not thought of well for stealing the Giants in 1957, for crying out loud.
Well,
and the Dodgers came after, right? The Dodgers.
Yeah, that was Walter O'Malley. And part of the deal was if the Dodgers came out by themselves, they had to do all this traveling, and it would be better to have another National League team, possibly in San Francisco. So when the clubs came out west, they'd have to 2 spots. They couldn't just go to 1 spot. And that's what.
Yeah, but they were gone anyway. They were going to Minneapolis, and O'Malley rescued them for San Francisco for the reasons you mentioned. Very important. Maintain the rivalry, this, that, and the other thing.
Sure.
But they would have been gone to Minneapolis.
Yeah, but probably. Yeah, that was the Millers were their farm club in those days.
Yep.
Didn't Willie Mays play there before he was called up?
He did indeed. After playing in George Case's hometown of Trenton, New Jersey.
Very interesting.
So,
I've heard about that. Oh my goodness. Brings back so many memories of just what I remember hearing as a child when these seemed like news, like it just happened.
well, I'll tell you how far back I go. I watched Bob Melvin at Cal. And I also remember when Bob Melvin in 1987 was a very, very valuable bench player for the Giants, and a pinch hitter along with Harry Spillner. And they used to call those guys the law offices of Spillner and Melvin.
Really?
Oh, nice.
And they were terrific coming off the bench in one of the best Giant teams around, at least the most interesting. And that was the year of Leonard and Clark and Chili and Mike Krukow. It was a terrific year in all our lives. That was like 30 years ago. Are you serious? That's scary.
Well, we were talking about Bob Melvin, and he this is the 3rd time he's won Manager of the Year. He won it with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and he won it in 2012. That was his 2nd year with Oakland, when the A's won the Western Division title on the last day of the season. if you recall, in 2012. They beat the Texas Rangers.
I thought he'd been here longer than that. Oh, my.
No, 2000. He replaced Bob Guerin in 2011. Mm-hmm. And in 2012, the night they clinched, here's another baseball story for you, and one I won't forget. The team won the game at home here in Oakland, and they had the popping the champagne in the clubhouse. I was up in the press box that night, and I very wisely waited a few minutes because I didn't want to get drenched with the champagne. So I did go down to the clubhouse, and I got a big hug from Kurt Young, and then I got some nice pictures of our friend Amari P. Gonzalez with Yoenis Cespedes and all the players. I got some nice pictures from that. And it was really exciting. It really was. And it's an experience that most people never have in their lifetimes. They see it on TV, but to be there, it was great. And the guy said, you got to wait because otherwise you're going to go home. You're going to be soaked.
So true. I remember, I was watching the last game of the World Series. I grew up in it 3 in a row. We reached Game 7 twice, and I'm watching it, and Boston's playing the Dodgers in Dodger Stadium because when Boston won, I was thinking, that would really hurt to have it in your home stadium, and Boston was acting like it was their home stadium, and I'm thinking,
oh, sure.
I'm thinking, wait a minute, that's sort of rude, although it's not. I understand, but they showed the faces of the Dodger players, and I was feeling for them because I know. Hello?
Hello.
I wasn't there. I have to admit, I don't know what it's like to lose in your stadium, but a World Series. But I could imagine what the Dodgers were feeling, and I thought they shouldn't have even shown their faces. I get really emotional.
And Nancy, I want to relive some 2018 memories for you. You had a book signing at Oakland Coliseum.
The last day of the home game, I had a book signing, and I remember being asked, well, how long do you think? I said, well, marketing shows that not much sells after the 5th inning, so I was scheduled to be there through the 5th inning, and there was a line. There kept being a line, and I didn't bring enough books. It was amazing. I didn't have anything behind on the wall. There was something different on the wall behind me, but once people knew I was there, I had to order 2 more boxes after I got home because people ordered in advance for me to sign the book and send it.
Nice.
Oh, that was great, though. That was great.
Nice. You had a nice day, and you reconnected with some fans?
Oh. It's interesting because I had people come up to me. Morgan, it was reversed. Morgan was working hard for me, trying to keep up with the receipts. People would come up and tell me stories. And I'm thinking, God, I wish I had time to, find out who you are or whatever. But no, this one woman told me how Charlie saved her life. And
really?
Yes, she was at the Edgewater Hyatt, jobless, and he just saw her and said, you should try out as a Raiderette. And she did, and she got it.
Really?
Great.
Yeah, and he invited her to one of our after parties for a World Series game when Anita Bryant threw out the first pitch. She mentioned it. I thought, oh, yeah, okay, I know that name. And then a man stopped by the table and said he is from Cooperstown. He grew up there. He still lives there. And when he was little, he chose the Kansas City A's as his favorite team. Everyone else was the Yankees. Everyone around him was, for the Yankees. He said because of the colors. And then he remembered Dad and Charlie being at Cooperstown, and it was 65, and he had ordered our yearbook with Charlie O. the Mule on the cover. And he said, Dad said, oh, we should have made more of those. It was amazing to hear people talk about just things like that.
Well, it's amazing. I'm going to tell you another story. My daughter graduated from law school in 1997, and she went to Dickinson School of Law, which was located in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, near Harrisburg.
Mm-hmm.
And Carlisle is the home of Jim Thorpe. That's where he was from, the great athlete. But I happened to be wearing a green cap with a yellow visor and said A's on it. Mm-hmm. And a guy came over to me, and I was with the club at the time, and a guy came over to me and said he was a huge Philadelphia A's fan, and was, and he was.
Why did you move?
He lived in Maryland. I think he lived in either Maryland or Delaware, and he had been a sports writer, and on top of it, and I said to him, well, I'll see if I can get you a cap and a shirt. And I came back, and I asked Steve Lucinich if I could get one, and he said, sure. He got me a cap and a jersey, and I sent it to the guy, and I got a letter from him. He was absolutely off the charts. Phenomenal.
What occurred to me though, they didn't have those. Philadelphia didn't have those colors.
No, they were blue and red, I think.
Blue and white.
Blue and white.
So I'm wondering. I was thinking that you were going. I was thinking, okay, is he going to say the man wanted the old Philly colors?
No, he wanted the Oakland A's colors.
So he knew those colors. He
Sure.
knew that it was still the Philadelphia Athletics.
Yeah, I wasn't going to wear the cap because I was dressed in a suit. I think I was wearing a suit. It was a beautiful day. They had an outside ceremony. It was in June or May or June, but I am follically challenged and needed something to cover my head, so I got the cap out of the car.
Interesting.
Okay.
That's amazing. When I was in Hawaii, I wore one of my shirts that had the years on the back. It doesn't say A's. It just is green and gold, has Oakland on the front, and the years on the back with Finley. Someone yelled Charlie O when I was in the airport in Maui. And
do you get to wear your cowboy hat very often with the A's thing?
If I want to, I do, but I don't. I mainly wear that to the stadium because people ask me to, but it falls off. It does. It's difficult. Like I can't be in the car with it because it touches the top.
Yeah,
Jane Mansfield had the same problem wearing a cap somewhere. I read she was driving along. Never mind.
Those caps are easier. They hug your head, but boy, that cowboy hat. I know Charlie growing up always he was big into cowboys and Indian stuff, and so he liked to think back.
Yeah, you don't have a string that goes down and ties it around your neck.
I know that it needs that.
It does. You could have that done. You have that put in.
Right.
For next to nothing, I guess.
Why haven't I done that?
Our old friend Carl Ivy came into my store wearing the green.
Argent Ivy, yes. He loved his hat.
He loved it. He wore it, and he had on his championship ring at the same time.
He
was very, very proud of his association with Charlie over the years.
I have those pictures from the World Series. Well, actually, it's from 75 onward, so it's the playoffs that Sergeant Ivy's wearing his hat. Because if you notice, that hat was that was Charlie's favorite picture, the cover of Time magazine. Yeah. And, but he didn't do that or wear that before his divorce. That was after when he could do what he wanted. Because his wife didn't like cowboy stuff. So I don't know if you noticed, did you see the A's history exhibit on the wall, the ramp?
No, I don't recall. No.
Yeah, well, when I walk by, I can't take my eyes off it because I'm thinking, okay, who decided to put that there? But one thing they don't have is a picture of Charlie with that hat.
Really?
But I'm thinking, it was done quickly. I know it was because I remember seeing it in May, and I didn't see it up there earlier. So I was just going to give them suggestions to make sure and add him wearing that hat because that he had a stained glass window made of that pine cover for his barn in LaPorte, Indiana.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Nice indeed.
So
hey, guys, we're running up against it. Thank you both. This was, congratulations to Bob Melvin. Congratulations to you, Nostradamus. And
Thank you, sir.
Nancy, for your book signing.
Thank you.
And your very existence.
Oh, thank you. And I want to hear Jerry's predictions, like once we see what goes on at the end, toward the end of the year.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens over the winter time, and we'll see what happens in spring training. But I'd like to wish
Jerry, the best Tyler. How's she getting along?
Oh, she's doing better today. It's been 2 weeks. She's doing better.
Good.
I think they determined it was a bacterial infection that caused the problem, and she's almost over it, so it's getting back to normal. But I want to watch.
Really nice to hear.
I want to meet
everyone.
I want to meet her.
Oh yeah, we'll do it. We got to do it.
Good.
I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Absolutely, or as my grandmother would have said, Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And I won't tell my Thanksgiving joke about what would happen if they just shot Bobcat instead of turkey. If the Pilgrims had shot Bobcat instead of turkey.
Oh, and next time I want to talk about mascots shooting those guns into the audience.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That won't be long.
All right.
Okay.
Be well, everybody.
Okay,
Thank
everyone.
you again, and we'll be back soon. Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. The show is A's Baseball, past, present, and future. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Okay.
Adios.
Okay, bye now.